competition for the very first time. They've looked very, very good, and here they are trying to get to the quarterfinals. Already today, we've seen Korea get up off the canvas in the second quarter, going a big run and take control of their game against New Zealand. They won against the Tall Ferns to book their spot in Spain, which is where the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup will be staged next year. And now the question is, which team is going to join them? Australia will not be taking this team lightly, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. But you know, I know, everybody knows, it's going to take a miracle effort, really, from the North Koreans to have a real shot. I'm Jeff Taylor, joined by Mick Bett. And Mick, it's a tall order for the Koreans.
Thanks, Jeff, and sorry for interrupting you. Yeah, you're absolutely right. A team that's unbeaten against a team that's winless. The odds are that North Korea are going to have a really hard job here. And knowing Australia, they beat Japan, hitting 12 threes, I think it was. And I know Japanese head coach Tom Hovas was desperate that he got beaten from the three-point line, but that's not the only way you'll get beaten when you play a team like Australia. They got many, many weapons and many assets. And if the three's not dropping, they can throw it inside, they can drive the lane. It's a very, very accomplished team. Top four, arguably, I would say top 2 or 3. And that's where this team is heading.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Bengaluru, India. It's the FIBA Women's Asia Cup 2017. First time for Australia in this competition. They've won 3 games in as many tries. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea, having won promotion from Division B, have come out and really battled, but they've lost all 3 games. However, the nature of this competition, all the teams advance to the quarters, so the winner of this quarterfinal will progress to the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup.
Number 17, Park
and as you look, there's one thing that we'd have to say about this North Korean team, Mick, it's that they're never short of effort. They will play hard for 40 minutes. They can be losing by 25, 30, 45 points. But if they hit a couple of shots in a row and big, they're going to be pumped up and firing and keep coming at the Opals. The Opals, one of the real powerhouses, obviously winners of the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup in Brazil back in 2006. They've actually still got 2 players in their team, Belinda Snell and Laura Hodges. There's Snell running out. It's a team that is, or a basketball program rather, that's trying to bounce back from the disappointment of last year's narrow quarterfinal defeat in the Olympics in Rio. And what better way to do that than to qualify for the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup and to also to get a medal, possibly of the golden variety, here in Bengaluru. Now we're going to have the playing of the national anthems for both teams. So it's Opals against the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. They're the referees for today's game. That's a handsome, intelligent-looking crew. Lim Baig and Kahinggala Waduje from Malaysia, India, and Sri Lanka. And also we'll get a look at the rosters and the starting fives for both of these teams. Mick, take it away.
Thank you. We'll see which one comes up first. I'm not sure which one's going to come up first. Maybe we're looking for North Korea down here in red. I hope that's going to be the one, because that's the one I'm talking about now. It is indeed 12. Rose Suk-hyuk has been the revelation for me, age 24, that plays inside 5. She'll provide much opposition against the Australian bigs. Number 8 there, Kim Hyang-hyuk Kim, had 8 3-pointers, or 7 out of 9, sorry, in game 1. It's been fairly quiet since then. The other one to watch is number 11 there in the middle of your screen, the forward, Pak Hyang-jong, who is also a very, very good shooter. They've got 5 Kims on this team, and obviously the coaches are Kim too, so it's going to be a fairly easy one for us to commentate in terms of the career. And there's row 12, inside and outside, not quite the 3-point range you'd expect, but of some of these girls. As for Australia, Mariana Tolo's sat down a couple of games, I think 1 game in total. Blitzov at 15 offers much resistance, and the guard play of Ebzery Mansfield especially gets a start tonight. Good to see. I think she's been the best, although Tessa Levy brings her experience every time. Belinda Snell starts as well, and really adds so much experience to this team on and off the court. It's a delight to watch her, still to keep watching her. As the Opals there get their last instructions from Olaf Long, head coach of this team on this trip.
Yeah, Chambers is, okay, here we go. Kelsey Griffin, 16 points, 9 rebounds, her averages. Rose Suk-hyuk as well. Interestingly, because, well, I'll just go ahead and, I mean, you know, I had to write a column about this on FIBA.basketball, or for the tournament website. And both of those players were in my best 5 players from the group. I mean, and you said the same.
It's tough to pick one out of the Australian team. The only reason I've picked Griffin out, because I know you've been talking about it. I mean, you could pick any of these Australian players to be your all-star 5. In fact, 5 of them might be easily the best 5 players here. But
now, Coach of the Year from Sydney, Cheryl Chambers. But also, Olaf Long has been doing a lot of the coaching. He's the husband of Sandy Brondello, who's actually the head coach of Australia, but she's coaching in the WNBA and the Phoenix Mercury, and couldn't come over. And I think it just kind of illustrates the strength of the Australian system, that they could not have her here, and yet this coaching staff that they've put together has done a great job. And I got to tell you, I've been impressed by Long, the way he's been calling his shots. And he beat, you know, his team beat a very good Japanese team, and he was the first guy to give the credit to the players. He's like, you know, we didn't have any warm-up games, and yet they came out and have developed the chemistry and really played well. So it has been so far a good bounce back year from Australia. Good early afternoon here from Bengaluru, India. It's the FIBA Women's Asia Cup. It's the quarterfinals. The stakes are high. The Opals in their famous opal uniforms, the lighter color, going up against the red of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. The winner qualifies for the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup. Of course, the Opals have aspirations of getting to the top of the podium in their first ever FIBA Women's Asia Cup. And who would bet against them right now? They have looked very good. Mansfield, who's been terrific. Snell on line, but a little bit short, but that Griffin gets in there and already shows her value to this team.
Well, Griffin took a good long run at that offensive rebound, came flying right over the back of the Korean defender, Kim, 16. Outstanding work. I told you they'll find different ways to beat you, and that's one of them.
And the turnover into the hands of Snell. She passes up to Ebzery. Ebzery misses, but look at Tolo hustle down the floor. She misses.
Rowe, great work from the Korean Rowe there to hustle back after her mistake and get the defensive rebound eventually. Korea need to settle down here, Jeff. There's no doubt about it. They're going to be under pressure against a wonderful Australian defense.
Rowe on the baseline. Snell with the rebound. Can't help but think that if the North Koreans really put a lot of time and effort and investment, as Tolo goes in and gets on the board, their program could get stronger.
Yeah.
You know, they were in Division B back in 2015. Here they are in Division A, and they've got one quality that you always need to be successful. They are about as combative as they come. Look at Rowe get inside.
Wow, that could have been a foul too. Korean will need lots of little bits of help along the way. There's a three from
Snell open. Well, Yang hands it off, and Pak has her attempt to rattle out.
Great opportunity here for Lauren Mansfield to really take control of this starting point guard position. That's a good pass inside, easy one.
Yep, the dump to Tolo. Ebzeri from the left. She hit some shots the other day against Japan.
She did.
And Mansfield just takes it right away from Zhang.
Attack it. They got 3 on 2 now.
Ebzeri again. She goes, I like this spot. And that way,
she was quick to find the same spot again, that's for sure.
Saw Pak perhaps get away with a push on Kelsey Griffin. One of the revelations of this tournament. As has Rowe, number 12. There she goes. And tough shot put up by Zhang. And now Rowe reaches in there and picks up a foul.
It's either Rowe or it's number 3.
Okay, it's on Zhang.
Yeah, they might timeout. They can take timeout now. I thought they might take timeout, seeing what Australia did next, but right now is the time to talk it over.
This is about as big a David and Goliath matchup as you can get. Maybe you could say, well, the Philippines would be even greater against the Australians, but this is a huge mismatch.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Korea will be looking. It's a nifty old little clipboard. I've not seen them in red before. It suits the uniforms. I wonder if Coach Olaf Long's got a yellow one down his stand. But anyway, going back to the mismatch, yes, it is. And Korea will be looking to get their first 2 points of the game. Australia could have this done and dusted by the end of the first quarter if they concentrate and play hard.
We just like to tell it like it is, don't we? Taking nothing away from the North Koreans, but they're challenged. It's obvious size, experience. In these big events,
well, you can paint it up. You can paint it up as much as you want to, can't you? There's a comeback in the off-in. It's going to be tough in from here. They don't get some points the next couple of minutes. Korea have gone to zone for the first time, Jeff. That might help them. Wow, turnover from Griffin.
Look at Zhang get up into the grill of Kelsey Griffin,
yeah. And
it leads to the turnover.
Well, good timeout from head coach of Korea, just to change things up, Coach Kim.
And Zhang this time has it knocked out of her hands, and Griffin brings it up the floor. Mansfield, her first Opals tournament. And
one thing you'll find with Lauren Mansfield, Jeff, that a lot of players at this level don't have this ability, is this ability to dribble on the hip. That ball is so close to her hip, and it's such a great height for her, so she can make last-second decisions with the ball.
Griffin gets in, banks it in. That's old school.
Yeah, that is old school. Yep. A long-lost art of shooting a bank shot.
Rowe puts it on the deck. Zhang for three and gets it to fall. So
wow.
it took a while.
Much needed points though, Jeff.
Well, all they need to do is hit a couple more of those,
Absolutely.
get a couple of stops, and we got a tie game.
And that's what you want. You want the confidence in this team.
Blitzovs is going to check in on the next dead ball for the Opals. Ebsary. And packed, hits another three. I think they were listening to us.
There you go, Jeff. That's all they need. A little bit of inspiration, a little bit of help.
Look at Tolo, finds Snell open, nope. Mansfield dumps it, and Kelsey Griffin takes the contact. She will go to the line. Look at the three-point shooting.
It's a great cut on the first element is that Griffin makes that cut because Tolo's up high. But the vision of Lauren Mansfield to see the pass. Here's the three, the first three from Zhang. And a team like Korea survives on a three-point. There's the one from, I think it's Park, is it 11?
You think there's going to be a more competitive situation for Australia to be in, trying to pick their team for next year's World Cup, if they make it?
Say again? Sorry,
it's going to be an incredibly competitive situation.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how in the world do you sift through all this? And Griffin goes out. I mean, she's obviously now got to be firmly in the running.
Well, you know, here's the thing, Jeff.
Spot. Levy's come in, by the way.
Let's suppose they get through this, which we think they will. They got the World Cup place. Some of these guys some of these girls who think they're on the fringe and are here because other players didn't come, they got 12 months to get themselves ready.
Look at Rowe take it down low and draw the foul.
Yeah, that's what Rowe does very well. Goes to her right a lot. And 1-2 dribbles and she'll get a shot off. Very soft touch she gets on that backboard. That's what I'm saying. You got 12 months to get yourself ready.
The Opals were so good. Let's face it, they were a team of legends, international legends. Harrower at point guard. Jackson, are maybe the greatest player ever, some people will say.
Yeah.
Penny Taylor.
Phillips.
Aaron Phillips. I mean, just Belinda Snell is still playing. And you just couldn't imagine that they would be able to kind of keep that program at such an elite level. Maybe you could say they've dipped a bit, but that's also being a bit harsh because maybe the women's game's gone up a little bit. I don't know. Inside it goes to Tolo.
Well, Jeff, you start with a big, don't you? A big-time big, and in Mariana Tolo, they've got the next big-time big.
Nice interception. And Snell held on to it for a little too long, but Ebsary gets it now. Blitzovs, she takes it to the rack and draws the foul.
Well, Snell was looking the wrong way. She was looking to her left, and the defender came from the right. But luckily, Australia came out of it. And this will be the problem for Korea, is limiting their mistakes down the offensive end.
Australia have a fan here who, by himself, I think is louder than the entire Indian crowd when the Indian teams play.
You have to ask.
They're pretty. It's got
to be a dad.
Boisterous. Look at Blitzovs. She's one of the most impressive players here.
Yeah,
she does it both
Jeff,
inside, outside. Yeah, defensively. We like how she defends on the perimeter.
You know what? She may not make an all-star team, but you know what? She is an all-star just for the effort she gives you everywhere.
Meanwhile, that pigeon just swooped down. Kim off the back of the rim. Now Levy, good look from Levy up to Ebsary. Steph coming open. She can knock that down. She does! And now it's the Opals back on top by 9. Kim open, and a tad unlucky. That rattled out. They've got to hit those. Laura Hodges coming in for Tolo. Tolo seems to have shaken off the calf problem that kept her out of one of the games.
Yeah, absolutely.
She played she's played very well. She's had a couple of slow starts, but then when you look at her numbers and everything else, goodness me, she's been one of the best players on the court.
Well, and the other thing is that whoever wins this will play Korea tomorrow. This will be somewhat of a good matchup. So Australia will go through the north and south, don't they, for the Korean peninsula. But if you look
at there, coming back in.
But if you look at the Korean shots, Jeff, outside of row, nobody's taken a two-pointer. So that everything revolves around that three-pointer. So Australia just sit there, play defense, just keep the guy you got ahead of you.
Look at Australia. Find it. Coming now. Blitzov says, nope, pass it to the open Coming, and she will knock it down every time. She is like, it's like a layup drill for Steph Coming.
Yeah, all credit to Korea, though. They make sure there's nothing easy inside. The ball they're going to beat us from the perimeter.
Look at Blitzov's pressure. Got to watch those telegraph passes.
They don't want to take an early three. They want to slow this tempo down.
Oh, beautiful spin, but then throws it out of bounds.
Yeah, Rose got to shoot that. I think she felt there was contact. You got to go up with the ball.
How good is Coming? 2 shots from 3.
Yeah.
2 makes.
And you got Maddie Garrick on the bench can also shoot. You got a whole slew of players in the same position. Here's a jump shot for Coming again. No, maybe. She was coming up high.
Levy open. She wants some of that three-point magic. Ball goes out of bounds.
The first game Tessa Levy hasn't started, so I don't know how that might have affected her psyche. She just has to knuckle down and play hard, though.
She came off the bench in 2014. They had both Mitchell and Phillips. Now, Pack and Blitzhouse with the board. Look at Blitzhouse look up the floor. Ebsari. Back to Blitzhouse, and she takes the contact, drives, gets it back. Good patience. Step back from Blitzhouse. Goodness.
One girl wrecking crew right there. Gets everything. Offensive rebounds, drives to the hoop, and then the jump shot to finish.
Shot inside the arc from Kim.
Such an effect Kim had in game 1, Jeff. Remember, 7 of 9 from the three-point line. Really not been a factor since.
Another one, same spot, same result.
I tell you what, Jeff, this is so impressive from Sarah Blitzhoff. You know, you think, what more does she need to do to get to the very highest levels? Not much.
And fouling the jump shooter, not what you want to do. Don't think
Blitzhoff wasn't guarding the jump shooter. She just stepped in to help out. I mean, she's happy to be everywhere around the floor.
Just want to check Cummings' numbers from three-point range because
well, she was 1 of 3 game 1, Jeff, 2 of 5 game 2.
Okay.
And 3 of 3 against Japan. So here she's coming to this game.
She's hit 5 in a row.
Yeah.
We were talking about.
She had 9 points off the bench, 8 minutes, 3 of 3 against Japan.
One of the many interesting topics of conversation that we've had in Bengaluru has centered on what would have happened had Australia not hit their three-pointers against Japan. And final 35 seconds. Maddie Garrick, by the way, getting that early call today. She didn't get in against Japan. There she is, open, steps up, and just a little bit long, follows the shot.
Oh, it's sort of doom and gloom for Korea here. They pick up a foul on a box out, which will be a A reach-in holding foul against 8 for Korea, which is Kim.
So here's coming.
No, it's Garrick, Jeff. Garrick,
Maddie,
throws,
sorry, Maddie Garrick, yep. Just so overwhelmed by Cummings' excellence.
I'm not sure why she ended up with the free throws, but
I said there was a hold.
Yeah, I thought it was underneath the bucket somewhere on one of the bigs, but never mind.
Cummings on the ball now. Jang with Korea. Might they hold it for one? Look at Blitzhouse. Reads the passing lane and goes in for the layup. Well, we've seen the best from her.
Well, we've seen that before. The ability to play the three goes up. With the ability to play in passing lanes for Sarah Blitzhoff. And that's outstanding. I mean,
a little bit of time left for Australia.
She will give everything every night she plays this game.
So the first score ends, and as we expected, Australia lead it big time. They're up 28-12.
We'll see some quick stats here. 16-point lead at the break, 40 points in total, 28 of them to Australia. It's been one-way traffic since about they were led for 9-0 to begin with, didn't it? So that was set their marker in the sand. Australia 63% and 37%, but those 3 threes have been really at crucial times.
So does this Australia team look like a team that didn't have any warm-up games to you?
No, their warm-up games were in the group games. Simple as that. I mean, you know, they were always going to come here and have some easier games, that's for sure.
Interestingly, talking to Kennedy Kariyama, the New Zealand coach, after their game, I said, Kennedy, it's tough to think about this now, but after their loss to Korea, because the Tall Ferns have not qualified for the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup after that tough loss. They were up by 10. They kind of faded badly in the second quarter. They came back, got it within 4 or 2. And anyway, they ended up losing by 15. You know, is Asian basketball, is playing in Asia gonna, you know, what do you think about it? Is it gonna make your team better? He said, absolutely. It's like, it might take 1 or 2 cycles, but this is really gonna help the New Zealand women's program.
That's excellent to hear. Excellent to hear, yep.
And the question I have is, will it make Australian basketball better? Because they're already so good.
Jeff, you can't get away from how valuable tournament play is. You bring a team away, you know, how many times do Australia get to go to tournament play? Well, Olympics and World Championships, that's it, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Oceania Championship, just while the rivalry with New Zealand was good, it wasn't enough, was it?
No, exactly right. So here you go. They're involved in every competition that Asian teams play, which is more than just one, I think, isn't it? There's quite a few of them in the end.
That's right. He also mentioned it's going to be good for the juniors. So bear that in mind.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So that was Rowe hitting the jumper for the North Koreans. Here's Maddie Garrick. There's that stroke that you like.
Yeah, she could shoot it, like I say, but there's like 2 other players, maybe 3, ahead of her in the rotation. So she's getting minutes now, which is good to see. The starters can perhaps rest up.
Kim puts up a 3 and hits it for the North Koreans. She was the player, other than Rowe, who really gave this North Korean team a chance to win on opening day against Chinese Taipei, a game they lost by a single point.
Yeah.
Here's Garrick. And missed that one.
Blitzhoff is getting a foul here. I mean, she puts her body everywhere, Sarah Blitzhoff. I think she's penalized for being bigger and taller than everybody else. There's the 3 from Garrick.
And her sister-in-law is actually Steph Cumming, isn't it? Would you like to explain that situation? I seem to get my tongue tied. Here we go. You've got Kim. Steph is married to Chris, her brother. Blitzov's brother.
That is correct. And the reason she got Cumming on her back because he hasn't got the change of name with FIBA yet, is she? So she has to go on her maiden name.
Oh, look at the reach from Levy.
Yeah.
Ball goes out of bounds.
It's off Rowe's knee. Great stuff. Great.
So can you imagine the Christmas Day games in the backyard?
Oh.
Nice weather Christmas time.
Yeah, you're right.
For Australia. So will they team up or will they play against each other? Maybe a little bit one-on-one, you never know. Here's Garrett passing it over to Mansfield. Mansfield back in. Garrick from the right. Look at the hustle. The little things that perhaps go unnoticed. Alana Smith misses, gets it back.
Oh, great step through, Jeff.
Yep. Her length is impressive, isn't it? But also her tenacity.
Wow, yeah, and you know, sort of agility there to step through with one dribble and get right through the Korean defenders.
Oh, nice behind the back pass, but Kim, 5 on the shot clock. And Jiang misses. Tolo coming back into the game for Blitzovs. Why did she try to hop over the 3-point line? Is that, did you see that?
No, missed.
Maybe it was just me. I'm going to watch it the next time. Superstitious, perhaps, from Blitzovs.
She's frightened she's going to trip over it.
Tolo, soft touch, stays out. Alana Smith cleans up the mess and gets an and one.
Yeah, that's classic zone work, isn't it? Get to the high post and Tolo, that ability to shoot that 15-footer. That's how you judge a, look at that little shot. Nobody challenges, in and out, but on hand to put it back in.
We didn't know what the deal was with Alana Smith in the last game. She came out, didn't she? And then she didn't come back in because she was,
we thought she was
injured, yeah.
Your sleuth skills didn't find out?
To be honest, I did not investigate.
You'd forgotten about it, I think, by the end of the game.
We were just mesmerized by the game, Australia-Japan. It was at such a high level. Played at such a high level.
Garrick's got this foul. I'm not sure what she's done. Just probably holding on to Kim as she made the cut to the wing.
Kim from up high. Garrick. Is that alley-oop? Well, the pass to Tolo. She catches it, passes it back out. Snell traipses in, just dumps it off to Alana Smith.
Well, you know what? Snell just bided her time. Just took to be patient, would see where the defenders were going, and Smith was wide open.
Alana Smith reaches in, knocks it away. The North Koreans under pressure.
That's not a great
Alana Smith,
you know,
on the foul.
And you got to reward good defenses. Smith is playing aggressive defense, trying to deny Rowe the ball. Referees have said, well, you just grabbed onto her arm momentarily. You got 3 Kims on the floor, Jeff, right now for Korea. So you'll have to be a bit more specific than just Kim.
Pack pulls up and banks it in. Oh, and she's hurt her knee. Or is it her ankle? She's holding some. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Possibly an ankle. She's come down on somebody else's foot, I think. Yeah, like just touching the ankle.
Oh, gosh. Okay, look at this. And then she. Oh, yeah, she did. It's her ankle. And
now,
it's on Tolo.
I've seen a few
Tolo's
games this season where that's been called a foul when a player goes up and down. Now you have to think that Pack was moving forward, so Tolo, no fault of hers there, by stepping in and putting a foot under it. But it's so dangerous for players to come down on somebody else's foot.
And some good sportsmanship from the Australian fans here. Telling good job from the North Koreans. Good hustle. And we have to harp on that. I mean, this is a team that really plays hard for 40 minutes, the North Koreans.
Yeah, they'll keep going. They'll keep coming at you.
Lana Smith catches it down low, goes up and gets the rebound. And the turnover. Oh, spin from Rowe again. $1 million move, 5-cent finish. Traveling. She has that spin move down pat, doesn't she,
Yes,
Rowe?
she does, and it's unfortunate she didn't quite get the ball out of her hands.
Look at this.
Here's the move.
I mean, it's
just never got up there, did it?
Now she's going to step back and put up a jumper. We had her down for, what, 36 points in the opening game against Chinese Taipei. She was electric.
Scintillating, wasn't it? Unbelievable. Just everything was dropping for her. Nice moves, an array of jumps inside, outside.
And then the fun and game started. She fouled out, or at least we thought she did.
Yes, right.
Then she came back in the game. Alana Smith just a little too hard. And then there was some confusion over whether or not she had fouled out. And then the next thing you know, she didn't have 36 points, but 32 points. So I still don't know what happened on that one. That was a little bit too long. And the reach in, Kim's just going to go hard. And good help from Alana Smith.
Yeah, once the Australian defense realizes there's a problem, they're so quick to put out the fire and hustle around the floor. It's a good timeout here. I guess Australia must have called it.
If Australia win this game, they will come up against, let's see, their one group, Korea. So that'll be their second game against Korea. Korea, meanwhile, have already qualified for the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup.
Yes, that's right, because Korea came third. So it is, yeah, that's right. So it'll be back-to-back games against them.
And Korea did give Australia a little bit of trouble for about, what, 15 minutes?
Well, don't forget they were tied with about 12 gone, 13 gone, and Korea got into that press that we thought Australia just made a right mess of, didn't they? Right.
Yeah, we were starting to wonder if Australia could beat the press.
Yes, right, yeah. Nobody's really challenged them since.
It's always interesting listening in on the timeouts for both of these teams.
Did you pick anything out? Or?
Just that they were.
I'm still blown over that red.
Discussing a little bit of strategy.
Yeah.
(38-21). The Opals on top. Safe to say they're in command, but you know what? Get a couple of threes to fall. Rowe thought about it, and then she falls down. It's worrying that Pak has gone out of the game with the sprained ankle.
Yeah, that's a big loss for them.
I don't know that she'll be back.
It's like their third scorer.
Tolo back to Mansfield.
It's good defense here from Korea, really causing problems. It's a tough one there for Rhee, I think it is number 10. Just a little nudge the referees weren't too happy with.
Ebsary pulls up, but is the foul on Tola?
No, yes, it is. Yeah, moving screen or just a hard screen. Kim's limping too, so I'm not sure She got caught on the knee, I think it was. She's going to come out.
Yeah, Kim, the captain.
And replaced by Kim, too.
And Kim is also inbounding the ball. So Kim is going over to the bench to talk to Coach Kim. There's a lot of Kims. Ree, nope, I was going to say Ree had it. Here's Rowe.
Yeah, Korea just struggling to find a bit of momentum here offensively. Great. Oh, it was a good look from Mansfield. All credit to Korea, because the last minute or so, the timeout was with 4:40 to go. So the last minute or so, Australia haven't scored, nor have Korea. So it's all gone a bit quiet.
Ebsari. And a three. Ebsari for three. And good box out.
There has to be a foul against Kim, 16.
Nope.
Just
she lowered her shoulder too much.
Well, it's the follow-through left arm that's gone straight into the face of Mansfield. As if to say, well, you can box out, but the afters are not wanted. So we need to make a couple of jump shots here, Australia, set them down a bit.
Coming.
Oh, the referee's got a jump ball. I'm not sure how that was.
Jump ball or held ball?
Help.
Or nobody was really holding it, but in the old days, you used to have a jump ball.
Oh,
now you just jump it up at the beginning. Coming, open, and nails it.
There you go. A little bit of extra time for herself. She's got her feet set.
And now the read, and Ebsari takes it away. 43 points for the Opals here in the first half. Still 2:45 remaining.
There'll be a substitute for Kim now after that, that drop, the fumble pass.
Look at Griffin go down the lane.
She was wide open too, Jeff, but
Mansfield.
Yeah, great play from the Australian 6. Timeout here, I think, for Korea.
They'll get to 50 before the end of the half, no doubt. The Opals. It's a timeout. Australia moving closer and closer to the berth to the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup. That's where we thought she was open, but Mansfield was open as well and said, I'm going to get in on this three-point shooting parade. Cumming has the 9 off those 3 threes. Smith with the 5 rebounds, Alana Smith. Levy with the 3 assists.
Well, Cumming had 9 against Japan with her 3 of 3 from the arc, 9 tonight.
Stands to reason that she'll hit at least 4 because she's been increasing her threes.
Oh, well spotted, Jeff. Well spotted. 1 in game 1, 2-2. Yeah, well spotted.
What do you call that in mathematics? The progression?
An arithmetic progression, that is, as opposed to a geometric, which would multiply. I don't think she's going to do that, but I don't think you can get a 1-2-3 is an arithmetic progression, and 1-2-4 would be a geometric. You see?
Okay. So, unless she were to get 6, and then it would be a geometric progression, because she would go from 3 to 6.
Yes, but the 1-2 would knock it off. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, okay, I gotcha. This is why I like never quit learning in this job.
No, no.
Next to the math professor. Kim And the turnover gives it back.
Now, Jeff, if she were to hit 6, it would be a quadratic progression.
Okay, but I don't think that we have enough time in the first half.
I'm wrong,
In fact, can I just say that there will be a lull at halftime when I'm going to go get a coffee and you can explain it, and I'll tape it and listen to it.
I don't get it wrong.
Coming. And dumps it to
3 seconds
to get the Hodges.
Tough, yeah. Haven't seen much of Hodges today, so it's good to see her out there.
She's one of the world champions from 2006. Wonder what that celebration must have been like for the Opals when they got back home.
Quiet.
I doubt it. Wouldn't that be the greatest moment in basketball history?
I mean,
I know they've had some big moments.
Jeff, only this summer the Canadian under-19 team were world champions. I mean, never before won any championship, and they win the world under-19.
So it's a big deal when you win a world title.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you never get it taken away from you. World champion. Champ.
First one is good. But yeah, back to that point about the Aussies, it's going to be, the Australians are going to have a tough old time, I would imagine, picking their team for the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup. And because it's going to be in Spain as well, you know everybody's going to have their hand up wanting to play.
Yeah, sure.
What better place to be? I'm hearing in the Canary Islands in Tenerife. I don't know if that's been confirmed yet. Coming. Well, there goes the quadratic. Not yet. That'll have to wait. But Griffin has the rebound. Look at Ebsary patiently, and then right before the shot clock puts it up. Griffin, offensive rebound. Swing it. Blitzavs. Good. And they go to 49. That was beautiful.
The girl that does everything, Jeff. Blitzoff, everything. Yeah, shoot.
Oh, Blitzoff, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you meant Griffin was doing everything, getting the offensive rebound and passing it out. That was, look at that, rebounding-wise, 14 and 14 for Australia. 14 offensive boards, 28 overall. And the swat from Ebsary. Ebsary on the SWAT team.
And they should get the last shot here, 23.4. Can't get any closer to 24. You're going to see it. This is good defense. When you block somebody on the perimeter, you know you're playing good D.
I think if they went for it here early in the shot clock, they'd get 2 for 1, because I don't think the Koreans would hold it for 1.
They might do, yeah.
Blitzavs showing her array of skills. Now coming, steps in off the back of the iron, and Korea gonna have to chuck it, put it up. You gotta know the situation. So it's 49-23, Australia in command at halftime.
Yeah, great first half from the Opals. You see the stats coming up there. Australia 50% and 38 outside. They've not really shot the ball as well as they might have done on previous games. But the rebounding stats tell everything, 29-9. I apologize they're coming through so quickly. But we'll be back in 13 minutes, Jeff or Toe.
It's interesting that you say they haven't shot it as well. Are you talking about the Koreans or the Australians?
Australians.
I mean, who would not want to shoot it as well as 7 of 18 from the arc in the first half? That's pretty good.
Yeah, true.
But you're right. They have high standards. 49-23. Australia on top at the break. 49-23, Australia on top of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, or North Korea, if you will. And 20 minutes away, presumably, from clinching a spot in the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup. It's been another strong showing, as expected, from the Opals.
Business as usual, you might say, Jeff. I mean, I think the form book would say this is going to be a tough game for Korea, but a sign of a good team is a team that never really lets up, isn't it? Doesn't matter who you're playing, you're going to give 100%. You're just going to, you don't know any other way of playing. And this Australian team is just very, very clinical, very well drilled and disciplined too. And I love the way they can hit you from many angles. And I think that's one thing that came out of the Japanese game. The 12 threes they hit were used as the reason why Japan lost, but I still say if those threes weren't going down, they'd have found other ways to win that game. And maybe the bigger games ahead of Australia will test them further, but it's all good preparation. They'll get through 6 games by the end of this tournament, and they'll all be 6 games they can learn something from.
But that's the thing, they've been hitting their three-pointers the whole tournament, haven't they?
Yeah,
they're a good team.
So you're going to have one game where you don't hit them? Possibly, yeah. They'll find other ways.
Well, it stands to reason that their path to the final is easier, having come from the tougher group, and because Japan lost their game, they will have to go up against, if everything holds true to form, they would face China in the semifinals, whereas Australia would face a Korea team that they beat like a drum the first time out. So it's all happening. Teams clinching spots in the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup, and it's been a great old tournament. I mean, I came 4 years ago in Bangkok, and it was an interesting tournament, but this one by far has been a much better tournament, and obviously it helps adding to the quality of the tournament with both Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, no doubt, and I think everybody's happy to hear too. It's made for an interesting quarterfinal set. You know, if you look at the Asian competition here, it is 5 good teams, very good teams, and then the rest are just playing catch-up really. And to add 2 very good teams, New Zealand and Australia, has made this tournament just a good spectacle, that's for sure.
There's the quarter-by-quarter scoring. It's 49-23 at halftime, and now the third quarter is underway here. The Opals unbeaten in this tournament and seemingly on their way to another big win today against this North Korean team. Kim is a little long, and Mansfield quickly brings it up the floor. Decided to take it all the way that time.
Yeah, Jeff, that's not a great choice from Mansfield, I don't think. You know, you've got a runner ahead of you, a 2-on-1 break. Share the love, especially early in the second half.
Or possibly take it out, maybe?
No, she did the right thing attacking. No, did the right thing. You've got to get layup, haven't you, 2-on-1.
Griffin dumps it over to Tolo, who goes up and can't quite get to go.
Well, the Koreans aren't making it easy for anybody out there, are they? Just all, as you said before, Jeff, playing to the end.
They will erupt if they get a basket here. Nope. Griffin hands it off to Mansfield. And now the reach and the foul. So North Korea not giving up the ghost, but certainly they're up against it, down 26 points.
Yeah, and they're just trying to rough it up inside a bit. It's cries from the Australian fans. Sit behind me, a foul, call the foul ref. And Just getting a little more physical, aren't they?
Look at Tolo, pass it back out. Look at him swing it. It's a thing of beauty. Mansfield gets in and misses. Tolo with the offensive rebound and draws the foul. Was that the fan that you were talking about? That was screaming for the foul.
Yeah, I think so.
Come a long way though. He's got to get his money's worth. Can't blame him.
He's got the best seat in the house, that's for sure.
Nope, you've got it. Oh, yours is better than mine. Griffin pulls up, banks it in.
Yeah, nice move there from Griffin. Kelsey Griffin just, not sure how much he's scored there. He's got 8 points, okay, decent game. Third top scorer for Australia.
Kim drives, Tolo. Off to Mansfield. Tolo puts up a three. Mansfield gets inside. So a little bit of role reversal there. Look, there he is. This guy's about as devoted a fan as you
Absolutely,
become.
absolutely.
Like the energy that he brings. Now, ball goes out of bounds off of Snell's hands.
Not sure what Snell, she's got a big smile on her face. Obviously, it came out of her hands, almost slipped out. I'm sure she got her feet slipped or.
Now, Rowe uncorks one. She's got that shot in her arsenal as well.
She's taken a couple beforehand that didn't go in, but that will bring Mariana Tolo up a little bit next time. She'll open up the drive for her.
Now Tolo. Oh.
Olaf Long is over there. I think just mulling a substitution or two. This five's not quite clicking really for him. He only scored 2 since halftime.
Tolo takes it away, hands it off to Mansfield. And then the almost interception by Kim.
Not sure whether the floor is slippy down there, Jeff. What do you reckon? Ebzery just went down.
Possibly could be a little slippery. Mansfield drifts in, no look. And Griffin misses.
Yeah, they can't get anything to drop right now.
And changes are coming. Hodges is coming into the game. Oh, beautiful reach, and look at her get rid of it quickly to Mansfield, who lays it up and in.
Nice play from Snell there.
Also, Lina Smith is going to come in. Look at the steals, 9 for Australia. The one constant, and now make that 10. Griffin just took it right away. Ooh, could be unsportsmanlike, and it is.
Yeah, Reed just taken out.
Interesting, one ref called it, the other one did not. But
do you get more shots if they both called? Oh, he needs one, Jeff.
But they both had a good view of it, which is interesting. But maybe one of them saw the other one calling it unsportsmanlike and thought.
I think your point is maybe one referee didn't think it was unsportsmanlike.
Well, that was my initial inference.
I agree with you. I agree.
But Griffin goes to the line and sinks the first one. In fact, Olaf Long called it as well, the coach.
Oh, it's important. The coach calls it.
So the lead is now 28. And she goes out, as well as Tolo. Thank you very much. Alana Smith back into the game, and Laura Hodges. And Hodges gets her first touch, and it won't go in.
Yeah.
And Longa says, I just put you in there to make that shot.
It's a tight rim down there, isn't it? New Zealand found to their cost how tight that rim is.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They had some tough old shooting luck. Kim from 3. Smith battles. North Koreans all over the place. Battling, held ball.
Yeah, they've got 3 players on that loose ball there. I mean, the Australians, would have thought that Smith had the ball. They're off to the races.
Snell comes out, Steph Cumming comes in.
Cry of good job, Snelly, from behind us there, Jeff. Well done, Belinda Snell.
One of the, without a question, the all-time greats. And we talked about her early in the tournament, what she did in that semifinal against Brazil in 2006, bringing Australia back against Brazil. And then they won the title. They beat Russia in the title game. And now the turnover gives it back. So a little bit of things are not functioning as well offensively.
All credit to Korea. They've kept Australia down to 5 points the first 5 minutes of this quarter.
And that ball rattled out for Kim's team. Look at Kim hounding Mansfield. Oh, nice move on the baseline to a wide open Mansfield, and she was short, follows up her shot. Passes it back out to Ebzery. Whips it down low to Alana Smith.
Beautiful pass. Smith just takes 1-2 steps towards the ball and under the hoop, and Ebzery just drilled it with it. Some good numbers there.
The more you watch Ebzery, the more you like her.
Yeah,
you have to say.
She's a great off guard, that's for sure. Ability to shoot that shot, make the pass.
And she's got that toughness to her game. Rowe buries the three.
That's her second three. I'm not sure she's hit a couple during the tournament, but that might be her high for the tournament so far.
I know you updated your stats after the game. What did you find out?
Yeah, she's only hit one previous to this game, which is in the last game. So good job Cumming there with a little jump shot.
Yeah, Cumming is just a born shooter. She looks like she works on that a lot.
Yeah, all born shooters do, that's for sure. Nothing comes naturally.
I'll tell that to Larry Bird. He'll agree with you.
Yeah.
Spin move from Rowe.
14 points for Rowe. They only got 4 scorers, Jeff, which is a bit of a problem for the Korean team.
Mansfield goes behind the back. Hodges chases it, and that's a foul on Kim.
It's a tough one too, isn't it? As Ebzery is making the cut to the bucket. The shot clock's running down low here. Ebzery makes the cut, and Kim just eases her out with a
hip job.
It was, yeah.
I don't like that play.
The hip foul?
Yeah, I don't like it. It's not very hip. It's too hip. Garrick waiting to come in, but she's coming in for the shooter, Ebzery.
This is where you look over and you see the sub coming in for you.
So she's going to miss it.
Just missed this one off to the left. Sorry, Maddie.
So many options.
Yeah.
So many options. Look at that. That 5 right there. We haven't seen Kunek yet.
No. Good shot there, Jeff.
We've seen her, but we haven't seen her on the court. 60-31. Kim goes in, outside, and Rhee this time misses everything.
Yeah, good penetration from Kim baseline. Probably made the right option. I'm not sure she would have got the shot up underneath the hoop.
Sun Mingran walking behind us of China. She's wearing a smile. She's been out with a knee injury. Now. Oh, got to look, Rowe. Alana Smith with the foul. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup that's going to be coming up next year in Spain. You might want to start looking into your flight. You know, the Australians have a long and deep history of players going to play in Spain. They've had a lot of players there.
Yeah.
Both men and women.
That's one of the top leagues in terms of contracts, isn't it? The level of money over there. I mean,
we've seen some great players. We've seen some great players over the years play in Spain. And this Blitzhouse comes in, back for Lana Smith, and they will be in the reckoning, without question. Spain will have a little bit of pressure. We know what happened when the men hosted the FIBA Women's when they hosted the World Cup in 2014. They lost in the quarterfinals. Look at Blitzau, sneak in there, takes it away, and here she is, showing how she can handle the ball. Garrick wide open, and then Levy takes it away. Coming. I like how Australia wait to get a good shot. As good a shot as possible. Well, Garrick is going to earn a trip to the line. Right now, what we have is we have the USA, still really the undisputed kings or queens, whatever you want to call it, of the game. They're #1. And then you've got Spain now have taken over that #2 spot, and France have leapfrogged Australia into the 3rd spot. So now Australia are #4, but I live in Spain, and I'm a great admirer of everything that they do, but I think there's more firepower probably down under. And it's only going to be a matter of time before we see Australia climb back in the rankings and
that's my question to you,
possibly
Jeff.
challenge the
You've
USA.
seen over the years, is Spain coming to the end of that era with the women's team?
No, I don't think so. I mean, they've still got wonderful players. They just won the Eurobasket women title.
France, maybe?
France have plenty of players, but I take issue with their style of play. I don't like it, to be honest. A little bit too slow, too deliberate.
No fast break, yeah.
Yeah, Spain like to run, and that obviously they work to their advantage.
I mean, they have Céline Demerck, if you haven't seen France play.
But she's retired. She
just
retired.
That's one question. So France has now got to fulfill the shoe.
Kunek has come in for Hodges.
Ah, good to see. Demerck is one of the top guards in Europe. How do you replace one of the top guards? Well, you've got a Pupa, the youngster. Probably.
It's not an issue for me. It's not an issue for me of talent for France. It's an issue of how they go about their business.
Yeah. I know we've always been critical of the slow play they play with, and sometimes it's been their Achilles heel, isn't it?
And this is only opinions, by the way. This is nobody's opinions but yours and mine. I'm sure that some other people might have a different opinion. But if you look at Spain, they get out and run. Australia, they will run. They will do everything. And it's hard to imagine that having what we've seen here, okay, this FIBA Asia Women's Cup might not be as tough as the Eurobasket women, but you can see this Australia team would be awfully tough to beat, even at a Eurobasket women, if they were in that competition.
Well, now you've seen a minor chink in the army. 11 points this quarter in 9 minutes. The Koreans have really taken it to them. I'm not sure what.
In other words, don't talk up to Australia too much, is what you're saying.
Well, this last 10 minutes has been the worst in 4 games we've seen. And it's not that they're not dominant. They're just. It could be that it's too easy. Like you said, they're very patient. Who's the one that's going to go one-on-one?
Offensive foul, moving screen on Kunek.
Kunek in the game, and straight away.
And it's interesting because Long has gotten up now and is pacing in front of the bench. He's not happy.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, 49 at the break, 60 at the end of 3 periods. It should have been business as usual the 3rd period, but it's not quite that way.
And Rowe. Oh, they're going to call the block.
Yeah, good work from Kunek, just getting ready, just getting the right place, the right time, just not quite convincing the referee it was the charge.
The other 2 teams that you have to talk about in Asia, China and Japan, as you see, yeah, Kunek just getting in a little bit too late. And these are teams that are clearly on the rise. So we'll see how good.
Well, once you go past France and Spain, Jeff, and USA, right? It's 1, 2, 3. That's the way it's lined up right now.
And then you've got Australia, yeah.
And you've got Australia. So now, where do China and Japan fit in terms of being above any of the next rank of European teams? Serbia?
I think Japan are good enough to beat almost any team in Spain.
Great Britain,
from what I've seen.
Where would you put?
Yep.
No. I jest.
Here's Levy with 10 seconds. And good read.
And you see passes like that. It's like, that's how this quarter's been.
We're up Long.
So would you put Serbia #3? Oh, good play from Kunek.
I wouldn't.
She's got travel. Wow.
So turns it back over to No, because I mean they didn't even get to the quarterfinals.
And you look, Greece and Belgium were 3 and 4, weren't they?
Yeah, and you know
Belgium
that's
3.
I don't think long term, even though
Messerman
of Belgium is awesome, and they've got some great players, but
so you'd slip Japan and China in 5 and 6 possibly.
I'm thinking. Don't forget we got Canada to reckon with. So
good old Canada.
Canada whipped China at the Olympics in a big way. And probably maybe should have beaten France. So, yeah, it gets kind of interesting after Australia. I think you've got like 3 or 4 teams there jostling potentially for position. I have to say, I'm impressed by Japan. I'm very impressed. And you add Takashiki to the mix, they become that little bit better. They got to the quarterfinals of the Olympics. They're building towards the 2020 Olympics.
And let's go back to Canada, Jeff, because you made a good point there. I mean, Canada's whole history of basketball, men and women, do not have a good domestic league outside of the colleges.
Yep.
In fact, the best players don't play in college in Canada. They go to the States. So does that inhibit the national team? Given Japan now, China has such a strong domestic league.
Whether they'd like to admit it or not. Rowe, a little bit long. Well, full marks to Korea for coming out and not letting the Australians pull away. Australia lead at 60-35.
They must have won that third period, Jeff, because I think they were down by 26 at the break, and they're down by 25 now. Won by a point, did they?
No. You're correct, Mr. Bet. It's Democratic People's Republic of Korea won the third quarter 12-11. But in reference to the discussion about teams like Australia, Japan, that have China, that have good domestic leagues, it helps their national teams. It's a point well taken. And, you know, those countries that do have good domestic leagues, obviously in the long term, maybe have a better chance.
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because it's Australia now, Japan, and China. All three have strong domestic leagues where the players can grow at home, can be looked after, get decent contracts, and make a living out of it.
Then again, Russia have a league, and they've been struggling, and they're probably they probably fall into the category of the great disappointments in women's basketball for the past 6 years, 8 years.
And look at the teams in that league that are very strong, and then you count the number of Russian players on each of those teams at the top of the league. I'm just guessing now, but my vague experience is they made the top players, because it's the top money, the top players aren't Russian.
Whereas a lot of the top players have left Spain, although they started out in Spain in the domestic league, but yet they continue to get better and better. And part of that, they've got great youth programs.
Yeah.
And you have established veterans not able to make the senior team. Probably similar to Australia, I'm guessing. Anyway, they start off the fourth quarter driving to the basket.
You know, Jeff, on a better day, Korea would be right back in this game. They've had some good opportunities, some good looks from the three, and just nothing dropping for them.
So maybe, no, let's be honest here. Coming into this quarterfinal round, were you thinking that Australia were the best team still in it, or were you thinking that China perhaps were? There's Rowe.
It's between the two, isn't it? That's for sure.
I would still think Japan would still have a chance.
Yeah, possibly. I just wonder whether China will overpower them. Once you get a team that overpowers them, I think they've got to make a lot of shots to win games.
Well, Blitzas hits the three. 13 points for her. And a perfect 2 of 2 from the arc.
She's shown me the last 2 days the extended array of her talents, that's for sure. Really impressive.
Well, she didn't get out on the shooter that time.
She got one in the eye there, though, that's for sure. I know she'll put that in the memory banks. That won't happen again.
Coming. So it really, really is, I can't emphasize this enough, interesting to see Australia and New Zealand now in Asia, in these Asian competitions. We'll see it for the men as well in the World Cup qualifiers, and also in the Asia Cup men, which is coming up in Beirut. Tips off on August 8th. Australia sending a team to compete in Beirut, and they'll have one Olympian, David Anderson, from last year. What a great player he's been in his career. Boy, he's hugely famous in Europe. And also Brad Newley, who's played for Australia Olympic teams and has also played a lot in Europe. And then you have a lot of players from the NBL that'll be there. Andre Lamanis. So this is a big summer for Australian hoops. Remember, Australia hugely unlucky not to get at least a bronze medal last year at the Olympics. And that was with a team that had a lot of NBA players. I'm really interested to watch this Australian team that they're going to send to Beirut. Ball goes out of bounds, 5 seconds on the shot clock. Now Kunek will inbound it. Do you think Long is happier with how they're starting to play, or do you think he's still looking for Australia to get that mojo back?
Well, yeah, Korea have frustrated them, Jeff. I mean, it's clear as day, and I don't know how worried he'll be, because they're going to win by 20+ points at the end of this game. But there's elements that it's not quite, either his players have not quite clicked together since halftime, and this was going on maybe 5 minutes before the end of the first half too, where they were. But Korea have hustled and hustled and hustled, and may definitely change the game plan perhaps for Australia.
Rose got to 18 points, continues to lead them. She was one of my picks for the top 5 players in the group phase. Blitzavs, she's got 13 points for Australia.
Well, Rose should be the leading scorer of this tournament, shouldn't she? We think she had 32, the stats say, but we thought she had 34 the first night, and she's had 15, 20 since then, and 18 tonight. So by far she is Korea's best player. She
came into this game, as the tournament's leading scorer over one of your favorites, Lee Yoru from China, and then Jillian Harmon from New Zealand was in there, and Huang Zhejiang, who's been very impressive from China as well.
That's incredible that Lee, only 18 years of age, second in scoring.
And Kelsey Griffin, what a debut for Australia. So that ball goes back over to the North Koreans. And they weren't even at the Asia Women's Cup that I watched in Bangkok 4 years ago. So very exciting times for Asia. Here's Kim, puts it off the glass. Now Levy hands it off to Mansfield. So you got a couple of playmakers out there on the court with Mansfield and Levy. Levy gets it up top. Blitzeyes turns.
It's a good point, Jeff, about first time we've seen Levy and Mansfield play together, I think. But there's an example of Olaf Long thinking, I'm going to change my strategy a little bit here because I'm getting nothing. There's nothing easy coming to this team anymore.
And Zhang, good hands from Blitzeyes, up ahead to Levy. Think other teams might be watching this, like Korea, for example, thinking maybe we should try this?
Well, the zone has definitely stunted things for Australia, but half of it is they've never got a chance to really get out and run the third period, did they? So can they get the runners now? But the Korea are so quick back, that's the other thing.
Levy was looking to pass, and in the end, she's like, I got to shoot this.
I just wonder whether they got too many people on this perimeter waiting for jump shots. Somebody needs to cut with that runner as the penetration happens. Get some easy stuff here.
Rhee drives in, scores.
That's a tough shot too. Very high degree of difficulty, that one. Just to stop and pop and no backboard. 20 points for, was that Rhee or not Rowe? Was it Rhee?
Rhee, yeah.
Yeah.
Blitzavs catches it down low, turns it over again. I think Olaf Long is angry. You want to be playing your best basketball by the knockout round. That was an air ball. So it is, what is it, 16 points in the second half?
Yeah, it is 49 at the break, and
and Alana Smith turns. She earns a trip to the free throw line.
And some of that is the Smith with a great look there. You know, just when you want an and one to go in, gets momentum going, she can't quite get it to drop. So she'll have to prove it from the line here. And the last thing you want to do is come with nothing from this trip as well. Miss both free throws.
Yeah, that's a real momentum shifter.
As Rhee has just fouled out, Jeff. 5 fouls for the number 10 for Korea.
So Kong Soo-yeon comes in. Number 15. Well, Smith will have more studying coming her way at Stanford and more good basketball. There's Kim, she traveled. Maybe this second half is just what Australia needed before their next 2 games. It's going to sharpen their focus a little bit.
Well, you know, this will please Coach Seo of Korea, that's for sure, to see a team like this. So frustrated is a good word, really. Another 2 shots for Smith here. 4 Australian fans. I don't see any more, Jeff, do you?
Look at those players. There is a sense over there on the bench, you could feel that they know they're qualifying for the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup. So in that sense, it's mission accomplished.
Yeah, but I think for players, you want to be producing your best. You don't want to win and not feel good about yourselves, do you? Because you've missed shots or things haven't gone wrong. You turn the ball over a couple of times.
Well, maybe they'll finish strong here. Then the last 4:40. And the scrap down low.
Yeah, Mansfield just claims their innocence, but the referees have probably seen a little bump along the baseline. Here's Coach Kim.
Look at Rowe and the coach. Now Kunek is going to come out. So Hodges comes back in. On the baseline, Kim. Look at that, the emotion. They're trailing big, there's no doubt about it, but every made basket is a victory for this North Korean team. This is a team to watch in the future, I think. I don't know what their youth situation is. They could certainly be aided with a player with a little bit of height.
Yes.
The smallest team here with the Philippines. And
well, Alana Smith, that's 6 points in a row for her now.
She's got 15.
Yeah, done really well. I mean, go again. This fourth quarter has been a frustrating time. Australia won't get to 100. And they would have thought that would have been on the cards for them.
Kim knocks down another one. 71-44. I think we saw Lana Smith drill a three, didn't we, in the first game? Here she is going baseline and scoring.
Beautiful footwork from Smith as well. Catches it and just pivots around the defender with ease.
She's got 17. She's got a team high 17. They could very soon have a game high. Rowe has 18 for the North Koreans. Alana Smith catches, puts it up, and one. So now she is leading all scores. It's been a stretch of about a couple of minutes where she has been just putting the ball in the basket.
Has anybody else scored this quarter, Jeff? I think somebody has, but it was a layup, I think.
Well, Tessa Levy. Tessa Levy scored in this quarter.
Is that the only one, I think, isn't it? Yeah, Levy got the first two with a layup, and it's been Smith since. I think she's scored 10.
Yeah, you're right. Except for Blitzovs. No, Blitzovs as well has 3.
Okay.
In this quarter. How can we forget that? Whoop. Fumbled the ball away. So 2.5 minutes remaining. I suppose really, I mean, you have to applaud Australia for coming out. And coming out, they're going to get a win. And they're going to qualify for the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup. And Levy takes exception to that call.
Well, Smith's having a little chirp at the referee as well. I'm not sure.
Sorry, Smith. Yeah, I think she thought that was should have been a foul. Kunek back in, and Levy gets the rebound on the weak side. 2 minutes to go. So, Opals fans, start looking into your travel arrangements because imagine your team is going back. Kunek hits the 3. Didn't know she had that in her arsenal.
Yeah, good for Laura Koenig too. Had a frustrating time a couple of nights ago, didn't she? Didn't quite get on the score sheet, but
she's feisty.
Yeah.
Opals will be at the Women's World Cup and certainly will be in the reckoning. We don't know what team they're going to take. I know there's going to be a lot of competition. Now Rowe comes back. She goes, "This is my game. I'm going to take over the mantle."
She gets 20 now for the game, so
she's along with Smith.
Yeah,
they each have 20. Here's Smith. Ooh, hands it off just in time, Smith. Levy pulls up at the line. Nice play by Tessa.
Yeah, it's a good way to finish for Australia. Making some shots, looking pretty solid right now.
Final minute. This game doesn't have the tension or the drama of the previous quarterfinal between New Zealand and Korea. That was a much more even affair, although Korea did pull away just at the end to qualify for the semifinals and the World Cup. But, you know, the way that the North Koreans play, it's you enjoy watching them, don't you? Here's Rowe. She takes back over. She's got a game-high 22.
Well, they play.
She just can't stay out of the limelight.
No, they play a penetrating kick game, and when you're making shots, it becomes a lot easier for you as a team to put yourself in a chance of winning.
Hodges drives in. Ball goes out, and .25 seconds remaining. So it'll be Australia and Korea in the semifinals. China and the Philippines will be the next semifinal, so you want to make sure you watch that one, and then we'll wrap things up tonight with Japan. And Japan will be taking on Chinese Taipei in the last quarterfinal. So final 13 seconds ticking off the clock, and Longa, the coach, calls off the dogs. But Levy says, nope, we're going to run it. We're going to run an offense. Kunek puts it over the rim, and that's it. So maybe they didn't have their own way, but they still win it 81-48. Convincingly. Australia march into the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup and the semifinals of the FIBA Women's Asia Cup.
Yeah, solid win for Australia. It'll look in the book with a 33-point differential. There were moments where they looked a bit frustrated with the way they were playing, but you go through a 6-game tournament, you're going to have certain days where it's not going to look that good in terms of work at the office. Look at your numbers there, 44%, 9 of 25. That means that they only hit 2 threes the second half. That will be something I want to talk about. Korea, 10 of 10 from the line. You know, if Korea made 7 or 8 threes, maybe, a couple more threes, it would have been a better game. But 50-22, that's where Australia will beat you up and win games eventually. An assist, 21-11. Good performance for the Opals, Jeff. They will advance, and we've got a couple of semi-finals that are going to be to die for, really, in terms of matchups, and I look forward to that tomorrow. So Australia, Korea, South Korea, that is, will be the semi-final matchup as the Opals leave here. Smith high for points, rebounds, and Belinda Snell. We didn't see much of enough chance to get 4 assists in there. Rowe with a 22 and 5, leading scorer in the tournament. Excellent performance.
Well, certainly that group right there, they haven't won a game, but they don't need to be hanging their heads. They've been given everything in this tournament. And Australia, a job well done. They'll now have like a little warm down. You know, it's interesting, just gotten a note from Roy Ward, Down Under, a journalist, basketball journalist, and he said on the topic of Australia and Asia, it's important to note that the Gems, who are playing at the under-19s, they lost the opening game of the current under-19 Women World Championship to Japan, and that was a shock, but Japan were hands down better on the night, and both have made it to the quarterfinals. So,
and they'll play Russia today, I think, in the quarterfinal. They beat Latvia yesterday, play Russia, which is a tough team.
Further illustrating, you expect the Gems and the Australians to have the great youth programs, but it's not just about the top team for Japan. They have a program, and they're interesting to watch. And we've watched one of their young guards emerge now with the senior team in Fujioka. So Rowe, she just keeps on piling it on from a point standpoint. Australia perhaps better in the first half today than they were in the second, but a win is a win. A World Cup qualification is a World Cup qualification. A spot in the semifinals is a spot in the semifinals. And their first ever venture into the Asia region here in tournament play is so far so good. But some interesting games ahead. They will next play Korea in the semifinals, and if, as expected, they win that one, they will probably face, we would imagine, Japan again or China. So you want to make sure that you're watching all of these games down the stretch. It's a fascinating change for international basketball to have both Australia and New Zealand now in Asia. So as we leave you with these final highlights, one final time here from Bengaluru, India. It's Australia winning it 81-48 over the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Australia remain unbeaten. They advance to the semifinals. And oh, by the way, they have qualified for the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup in Spain, which will be held next year. Thanks for watching.